Hello, and let's talk about goals. Specifically, my goals for last year and whether or not I achieved them, and then my plans for my goals for 2025. So, to start off with last year, did I achieve my goals? Well, as you might have noticed, I disappeared from BookTube for basically the entire year. But yes, I did achieve some of my goals. I don't know. There was like a couple that I thought about for the whole year. And then I was like, I could do this. And then I did them. So the goals that I had, the two that I definitely didn't do at all were my two BookTube goals. I wanted to film more review videos and replace monthly wrap-ups with recent reads. Clearly, I did neither of those, which is what it is. I also wanted to read at least 50% authors of color, keep my white authors to less than 50% of my reading, which I did. Huzzah! I was at exactly 49% white authors last year as the year ended. It was definitely a push in December to kind of like make sure that I got everything read correctly and make sure that that stat came out on top. But that's kind of why I'm doing this, to like think about it. And I did it. I wanted to read at least 100 books, which I did. I read 108, which is kind of low for me. I would have liked for that to be a higher number, but you know, kind of a rough year last year. So we'll go with that. I wanted to read 50,000 pages, which I did not. That was a stretch goal anyway, and then it became very quickly clear that I was not going to hit anywhere near 50,000 pages, and I didn't. I think I was at like 30,000 or something. It's fine. I also wanted to focus on reading longer books. My average pages per book in 2023 was 326, so I wanted to up that average. And in 2024, my average pages per book was 317. So I didn't do that either. That's fine. That's a bad goal for me. That was just a bad goal for me. I read genres that tend to have shorter page counts. And I also just tend towards shorter books in general. So it makes sense. And I don't know. I wanted to get my TBR down from 564 to 520. And my TBR went up to 574. Go me. I wanted to read the 21 books that were recommended to me this year for my Choose My TBR for the Year project that I do every year. And you know what? I did that. Almost. I will have a full video where I discuss all of those books that y'all recommended to me last year because I read them. I may not have been here and I may not have been talking about books or talking to you, but I read the things you recommended me. And I will make a whole video with all of my thoughts. I wanted to limit my book buying and read the books I do acquire. As you can tell from the getting my TBR down prompt, goal, whatever, didn't do that. I bought like 50 some books and I read like 7 of them. It is what it is. And then the final goal was I wanted to read 5 classics, and I choose to identify a classic as a book that is at least 50 years old. I feel like that's a solid marker. So I read Wuthering Heights, Dorian Gray, A Christmas Carol, Sula, and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So, again, we'll talk about those books at a later date, but I did read 5 of them. So those were all of my plans for 2024. And I feel like I did okay. Like, there's always going to be some goals that just don't work for me, that were like full failures. But I feel like I got the important ones. You know, I read my classics. I kept white authors to less than 50% of my reading. I read 100 books. That's like, everything else is kind of flexible. Those are the important ones. So, my plans for 2025, I am keeping with my goal for reading 50% authors of color. I liked doing that last year. It was at points a little bit challenging. Like, I definitely had to make an active effort to do it. So I want to keep up with that until it becomes less challenging and more of a habit. Because it is something that if I am not actively choosing to read more diversely, I read a lot of white American women because, you know, I am a white American woman. It makes sense. But I am trying to read more diversely, so I'm going to keep that as a goal. In addition to my reading more diversely goal, I'm adding a second goal for that, and that is to read authors from 28 different countries this year. That doesn't mean they have to be new to me countries. Like, obviously, like, the United States counts. England counts. Canada counts. But, like, I gotta read 28 different countries. And I picked that number because it sounds super arbitrary. I have a reading spreadsheet, and it has a section for nationality. And it has 27 slots. So I would like to make my life difficult and have to add a 28th slot. That's my goal. So far, I've read 3 different countries, so 25 to go. For the amount I read, I'm sticking to what I did last year. As you'll notice from these goals, a lot of them are just goals from last year because I like them. Read 100 books, that's my goal every year, and then 50,000 pages is my goal. It's a stretch goal for me. Realistically, I don't think I'll hit it, but I want to try because I don't know. I just want to try. It sounds like a good number to my brain. So I want to put it on there as like 100 books is my easy goal and 50,000 pages is my hard goal. But I'm not going to be bothered if I don't hit it. I think right now I'm on track to read like 36,000 pages. So we'll see. We'll see. I would like to get my TBR down. Again, that's my goal every year. Last year I added 10 books. So this year, instead of setting it to a specific number, because I found that one of the reasons I struggled with it last year was because I started going to so many different book clubs. I generally go to like 2 to 3 a month that require I read a book for them, which I have to get from the library because they don't really usually pick books that I own. So I wind up reading a lot of library books. So my goal for this year is literally just to get my TBR under 564, which is where I started last year. So as long as I get under that, I will be happy. And then going along with that, I want to continue trying to limit my book buying and also read the books that I am buying. That's my goal every year. Last year I did really bad. Hopefully this year I will do a little bit better. And then what I didn't do last year for my booktube channel, I want to replace my monthly wrap-ups with recent reads, like in the 6 to 8 book range. I think that would be easier for me than trying to do an entire wrap-up of a month's worth of books, because sometimes I read kind of a lot and then those videos wind up being very lengthy, which is annoying to film, annoying to edit, and probably annoying to watch. So if I kind of do shorter wrap-ups, I think I would like that. So again, dipped out of booktube last year, so didn't do anything, but that's going to be something I try to do this year and see how it works for me. And then I want to once again read 5 classics, because if I try to read too many classics, I find it stressful. So I'm trying to just read a couple of classics a year, like make a priority to at least read 5. And I've already read 1, so we're off to a good start. So those are my goals for 2025. That was what I did in 2024. Let me know down below what some of your goals are for this year and how you did on your goals last year. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all again soon.